Greetings, welcome to the channel. I wanted to share with you how I'm getting kind of back on track, just more prioritizing my own health, physically, food-wise, mentally, because I've noticed over the past month that those things have started to slip. I've talked about this in other videos, and there's a part of me that's like, I hate making this where I'm kind of admitting or telling you again that like I gained a little bit of weight and my habits have slipped. But at the same time, like this is a really common occurrence for me. Like this is a every couple of months kind of thing. Like my weight fluctuates within about 4 or 5 pounds. But overall, I've maintained that for the past 4 years. And I think it's powerful because being able to stay where I am within that range while my life is crazy, while there's travel, while there's like disability, kids, sickness, change in seasons, like stress, business, all this other stuff, I think is an accomplishment. And I think most people's lives are not as cookie cutter and beautiful as the influencers that we see like frolicking around in Hawaii, and their lives seem absolutely perfect and they're all freaking hot and tan and beautiful. And maybe your life's not like that. My life is not like that. So I wanted to share with you just a little bit of like what I'm doing to check in my habits and how I continually do that, how I know when to check them and take them back so that I don't gain the 40 pounds back. Even if your life is not perfect, let me know in the comments. Let's do this together. You don't have to be perfect to see results. All right, let's go. So a little bit of background about why I gained a bit of weight. My habits started to slip. A couple of months ago, I started taking some medication for my mental health, which was hugely helpful. One of the side effects of that was that my appetite was much less. So what I found is that I was eating higher calorie foods, I was eating less vegetables, but I was able to maintain a lower weight and a leaner physique because I simply wasn't hungry. I wasn't snacking. I didn't have like a ton of interest in food, which was honestly nice, just to not be thinking about food all the time and not be like wanting to snack. And I knew when I was taking that once I stopped, I would have a predictable weight gain because my behavior was going to change. My behavior was artificially, or environmentally is probably better to say, influenced. And if that environment changed, which was my hunger, then I would be eating more calories. Like that's the kind of the first thing to understand is just weight gain or weight loss. It doesn't mean that someone's a failure. It's just a predictable response to a change in environment or a change in circumstances. Why people gain weight when they get married or when they move to a new city. It's why we can lose weight quite often when we shift to new jobs. Like there's all these environmental factors that influence our behavior and therefore our calories. The second piece of this was that I got into the habit of eating more like highly processed foods because I wasn't eating as much food and I could get away with that. And so I went to the States and I was there for 5 weeks. I had the time of my life. Like, it was a lot of work, but there was like a lot of like good stuff and like there's some pleasure and holiday type stuff in there as well. And I was skating all the time. I was like eating potatoes and veggies from Walmart that we can't get, but I was also eating some like processed food and some takeout as well. But because I was moving so much, I actually lost even like a little bit more weight. Backstory, I come back to New Zealand and I'm like fit as heck. I'm lean and I was tan and I was feeling pretty damn good, to be honest. But it wasn't because of anything like amazing of my habits. It was just because of my environment and where I'd been for the last few months and then my trip. And so I come back and I'm eating a bit more processed food like I'd gone off my medication because I'm like, I'm good. And I couldn't get the veggies. New Zealand, we're just struggling to get the produce right now, which is fine. It's not fine, but I'm telling myself it's fine. And I just gained the weight. So it's a really predictable response. And it's only about 3-ish. Like I said, I think it's only like 3 to 4 pounds. But because I've been working so much, I haven't been prioritizing the gym. I haven't been getting like movement in, and I haven't been sleeping very well. And so these are the biggest things that I wanted to change is that I just want to prioritize my health, even though I'm in a very, very busy kind of crazy stage right now. And you're probably aware that I have a weight loss program for vegan women. I've talked about it before. It's a great program. We have a lot of accountability in there to really help people not just know what to do to lose weight, but also implement it. And that was my problem, was implementation. And I've been thinking for a while, like, man, if there was a program like Lean with Plants, I would join it so that I could have some accountability. And I thought, like, why the heck don't I just join my own program? So I reached out to our head coach, Keisha. It's Keisha. She's lost 70 pounds. She's flipping amazing. And I was like, dude, like, do you want to be my coach? Like, obviously, I'll just do everything that's in the program. We'll set up my habits. And she's like, yeah, of course. Like, let's do that. So I downloaded our app and I started just taking pictures, and we set like a step goal. We set like a 5,000 step goal. I set like a habit to go to the gym 3 times a week. And that's been the big thing so far, is just creating something different. Like saying, you know what I'm doing is not working. I keep saying I'm going to be eating more veggies, I'm going to go to the gym, and I don't. So the first step for me is always recognizing that if my behavior isn't changing, I need to change my systems. So reaching out to someone else, getting the help, humbling myself to do that, and then getting that accountability is the first step for me. And I always do this, whether that's with running, exercise, making some kind of commitment device where I'll tell everyone, hey, I'm going to be doing the potato reset or something like that. I always use accountability because it's so powerful. So join the program. I know it sounds weird. And then the second thing with that, which is what we do, part of what we do in the program as well, is be very intentional about getting in my veggies every day. So we set a goal for me to get in a pound of veggies every day. And what we found with our clients is it's super effective to just have either the morning. Can you hear that? Like, that's another siren. Like, when have you ever heard me do a YouTube video where there's not police going past? Every video. Great timing. So we found with our clients, either prepping those veggies, just a pound of veggies either in the morning or at night, means that you're much more likely to eat them during the day because they're there ready. And so I've been doing that. And also like getting my steps in and just making healthier meals. So I filmed some footage of me doing this the other day, because it is another day. I ran out of battery, and so this is what I've been doing. All right, let's have a look and see what's in there. Rice, potatoes, get some of those, broccoli, salad, kale, hummus, olives. So Riley tidied this the other day, and I gave her some money for it because we don't do pocket money, we do we do jobs. This is a trade of value society, and I'm going to use this because I love it. The other thing that I've been doing is actually taking pictures of my meals for accountability and just like following some of the things that we do inside of the program. I gotta say, that thing alone, just having to, like, knowing someone else is going to be looking in and seeing what I'm doing, is making it so much more likely that I choose healthy options that are in line with who I want to be, because I'm like, man, like, I don't want to take a picture of these chips that I wasn't hungry for, that I didn't need, or a dessert that I didn't need. It's also super satisfying to mark things off on the app, mark off that I've done my 5,000 steps, mark off that I like have been to the gym, and know that someone else is looking in and they're gonna be like, good job, like you did that. What you working on?
I said I'm working on the things to make you proud.
I feel very proud of it. So I just realized we don't have any lettuce or any kind of greens, and because I have to get in 5,000 steps, look at me just blowing it out of the park, 5,000 steps, which will be a lot for me, then I think I'm just going to walk up to the supermarket and just go and get some stuff because it's an excuse and I hate walking for the purpose of nothing. So let's do that. Don't forget to drink water. Fun fact, Nick was hanging out with a friend of ours the other day. My Starbucks water container thingy was in the front seat of the car. He could not believe the size of this. He was like, no, like that's not a real thing. Like we do not have drinks this size at home. So, America. Let's go get some veggies. Hey Nick, can you please watch my potatoes while I'm gone? And make sure they don't burn.
Oh, okay.
I want them crispy. Crispy.
Crisp and light.
I just want to show you this ramp that Nick's dad built. Like how cool, so that Nick can get in to our little house. Our little yard. Well, it's not raining today, so that's really positive. There's actually some really fascinating research on the power of being bored and how we need to have times when we're basically just not stimulated by like phones or musics or just anything that is just going to distract us from our thoughts. And I was really challenged when I heard this, and so one of the exercises that I was kind of reading about was actually going for walks when you don't listen to anything, you're not like on your phone, and you just think, and it allows your brain to just be bored and then creatively problem solve. Like it's a really big part of being creative. So I'm going to try and do that more. It's really challenging though. I feel like it's almost easier to go for like a 5k run with music like blaring in my ears than it is to just walk in silence. This is an absolutely epic feast. I'm so excited to eat this. Let's give it a taste test. Got those crispy, look how crispy that is. That's beautiful. Some hummus. So good. Got my pound of veggies in here. Definitely. This is a super healthy lunch, really filling. A little bit of this, game changer. I'm gonna go enjoy this. Having times where I'm super consistent and then other times where my habits slip and I'm not as healthy is really common for me, and I'm going to do another video explaining why. Spoiler alert, my life is pretty stressful and chaotic a lot of the time, and it's also pretty inconsistent. I think that's a big reason for it. But I think a lot of people can identify with the fact that they're always going through different seasons and they have different produce available. There's just different things happening that make it either harder or easier, and that results in either weight gain or weight loss, or just a plateau. The thing that's been really different for me now, as opposed to when I used to try to lose weight and keep it off, was that I can actually keep this weight off within a very tight range of about 4 to 5 pounds. And I've been doing that for 4 years. So something must have shifted. That's after losing 40 pounds. And there's 2 reasons I can do that. Number one is I understand that weight gain or loss is just about calories. It's about having more or less calories than your body needs, which means that your body is forced to dip into your stored fat cells, or it stores your fat for a rainy day. The reason that we have more or less calories is normally a response to an environment. If you're traveling, it's because there's more high calorie food around, you're eating out more. If you are losing weight and you're on a diet and you've got accountability, it's most likely because of that. So any time that there is some kind of change in your environment, whether that's because of medication, stress, having a new baby, whatever it is, there's going to be some kind of change that corresponds to how many calories you're having or how many calories you're burning. That is most likely going to result in some kind of change in your weight. So knowing this is the most important thing, because it's not personal. My weight gain is never personal. Neither is my weight loss. It's not a reflection of me as a terrible person or a failure. It's just a reflection that my environment and my habits have changed, mostly because of my environment. So because I know that, I can approach that with logic and data rather than just be like super emotionally driven and go and eat tons of cake and ice cream and just give up and be like, woe is me, poor me, I'm a failure. So I know why it's happening. And then secondly, I know what to do and how to change that fast. I know I just need to reduce my calories or up my movement more. And mostly that's because my environment is not going to be helpful for my consistency. That sounds really abstract, but the way that I interpret it is that I need to change my systems and my environment. So something in my environment is not helping me to be in the lifestyle that I want to be. I have to change that. So the way that I used to do things was I was always looking for more willpower. I thought that if I made a commitment on Monday, if I was in enough pain and I was desperate enough, then I would change. But I never actually did, or I didn't do it consistently enough to get to my goal. Is the amazing thing about understanding behavioral change is we can see that if we change our environment, we will be forced to change. If you're in the military and someone's yelling at you to get up at 5 a.m. every day and make your bed and then run for 5 miles, you're a lot more likely to do that than if you're just at home and your alarm goes off. So rather than trying to get more commitment and willpower to change, you can ask yourself, and I ask myself, what could I do in my environment, either my internal environment, so like my commitments and my values, or my external environment, and it's normally a combination of both, that is actually going to force my behavior to change and make it easier for me to change my behavior. This is the key difference. You're not looking for how to change. You're looking for how your environment is going to change you. There's this great quote in Atomic Habits that I love, and it says that disciplined people are not inherently more disciplined. They just have a more disciplined environment. So that's why I reached out for help and I got some accountability. It's making it so much easier for me to eat healthily because I have to mark that off. There's that pain if I don't do that. I'm losing face. I'm being accountable to someone else. I don't want to let that person down, even though obviously this is all psychological. And then it's more satisfying for me to follow through as well because I've got goals. I can tick things off. I've got that encouragement there. I have a plan of action and I have clarity, and now I just need to follow through and do it. The final thing I want to talk about is movement. And so yes, I do have this step goal, but I also want to be raising my heart rate. I want to be spending more time with my kids. I want to be having times where I'm not working and I'm intentionally stepping away from that. And my favorite thing to do in the world is skate. I'm not amazing at it, but I absolutely love it. So I've been intentional, and I'm starting to be more intentional about getting out of the house when my kids get home from school, going and skating for a couple of hours if the weather's fine, and getting my movement in a way that I actually enjoy. And enjoying a behavior, having it feel satisfying and fun, funnily enough, is going to mean that you're more likely to do it. So it's much more likely that I get out and move my body skating than it is that I go for an hour-long run, especially if it's raining. I'm not going to do that. So whenever my habits or behavior is not where I want it to be, I'm always asking myself, how can I make these things more fun? How can I make movement more fun? How can I make going to the gym easier? How can I remove those barriers to getting out and actually doing the thing so that I can build up that habit again? So to summarize, I bought that cookie and I didn't even eat it because I did end up working till about like 9 p.m. And then at that time I was like, I don't even want to take a picture of this. I'm not going to eat it. So accountability for the win. Final thoughts are, if you're finding that your habits are slipping, if you are struggling, if you are not seeing consistent progress, you must change your system. Stop trying to change yourself. You do not need more willpower. You need a fundamental change in your environment and your systems. And if you need help with that, then we'd love to help you. So if you want to know more about like working with us, you can hop on a free call. I'm going to put some information in the description. But you can also join my free mini course where I share the entire framework that helped me to lose the 40 pounds and actually keep it off in terms of what to do. Implementation is always going to be the hard part. We can know what to do and then not follow through. But if you need help knowing, then that's the first place to start. All right, that's it from me. I'll see you next week for another video. Bye.